Shemar Stewart left minicamp early and much, much more following a busy 3 days at Paycor Stadium right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and make sure you check us out wherever you get your podcast. That's Amazon, that is Spotify, that is obviously Apple Podcasts as well. And let's dive into the news of camp, certainly the news of the day. Shemar Stewart left camp and left on Wednesday, a day early after practice, and that was pretty noteworthy for a bunch of reasons. One, obviously his contract situation is what it is. The back and forth with the Bengals, we heard from him earlier this week. He is not happy with what the Bengals are offering him. I'll get more on that and share more on that in just a minute here as far as the contractual side of it. But Zach Taylor talked right here today, shared some thoughts on Shemar. We posted them, not a ton, supporting Shemar, but also could only say so much because obviously the front office is negotiating. The front office is trying to essentially put in a clause that they haven't put in the past that a lot of teams use. And that's been a question that a lot of people have asked. And so basically what this clause is in every team does this, but it's the when. I talked to multiple agents about this, and no, not Shemar's agent, to get an idea of what was going on. And so basically what it is this clause. Let's say Shemar got suspended for one game because he took off his helmet and threw it into the stands or something, right? Gets suspended for one game, or there's a PED suspension or anything like that. Well, all of his guaranteed money on his rookie deal could void. Doesn't mean he's cut. It doesn't mean he doesn't get paid, but that guaranteed money voids. So Jamison Williams is a good example. He was suspended a few years ago, first round pick. Well, his guaranteed money voided for the Lions. That doesn't mean he didn't see the length of that contract. He is. They're in extension talks. By the time you see this, they may sign him to an extension. So that's step one. The Bengals haven't done this in the past, where all of that money, all of that guaranteed money would void in that scenario. They're trying to do it. They're trying to set that precedent. Fine. So Shemar's saying, I don't want to be the first guy to do it. You didn't make Omarius do it. I don't want to do it. Fine. But the difference is when the Eagles do it, or some of these other teams do it, is they sweeten the deal a little bit for the player. And what the Bengals could do is, let's say, and all the money is guaranteed for rookies or for first-round picks. They could go to Shemar and say, instead of giving you 50% of your signing bonus at the time of signing, let's give you 75% of your signing bonus at the time of signing. And, yeah, that's going to be paid regardless, but gets it to him faster and says, hey, we get it. We understand that you're doing this for us, so we'll do this for you. Or we'll give you all of your signing bonus up front right away. That would be a way to kind of bridge the gap, make it sweet for Shemar. On the same side, set your precedent that you want to set, that I do think is fair. The reason that it's so frustrating, though, is because this is a whole distraction. And I know it's a distraction, and I just got out of the Bengals locker room, and guys are talking about it. Guys are like, man, what is going on? Now, I will say, there are also guys in the locker room that didn't realize that Shemar left because he hasn't participated. And, you know, you can guess who would and who wouldn't, depending on meeting rooms and things like that. But he left after Wednesday's session, according to Schefter. I get it. I get the frustration, and by I get it, I get your frustration, because I think this is going to be a topic. I think this could certainly go into training camp, and that's why I mentioned that sweetener, that, all right, get the money to him faster on the signing bonus to maybe get this thing done. And getting this done before training camp starts has to be high on the priority list. Other training or other minicamp notes, not training camp yet. We got some weeks before. Other minicamp notes. Joe Burrow, I talked to multiple veterans just raving about Joe Burrow's ball placement, about the throws he's making and attempting. And I thought that was interesting, that in the past Joe hasn't necessarily attempted as many of these thread-the-needle throws this time of the year. It's more of a training camp thing. Well, he did that throughout minicamp, and so I thought that was really interesting. I thought that just watching him is awesome, goes without saying. Talked to a veteran who's really bullish on Dylan Fairchild, and I think that that's obviously someone that a lot of people are following, a lot of people are thinking about, and they're going to likely start him at left guard. And so for guys that have worked with him to say, yeah, man, he's working out. He's getting a lot of valuable reps. One thing that the Bengals are doing is a lot of one-on-ones, offensive line versus defensive line, and that's different. That's new this year. Jerry Montgomery and Scott Peters implemented that. I think you will enjoy that from a knowledge standpoint, and I'm also excited for training camp because that means more one-on-ones, and what's better than one-on-ones? And in this offense, you have to one-on-one block. Defensively, we already talked about Shemar a ton, talked about Trey. I think that's going to be the elephant in the room. That's going to hang over everything. Dax Hill progressing well. That's another one that I think you look at Dax, you look at what he can be, and you look at how Al Golden's moved these defensive backs all around. Cam Taylor-Britt, nickel. Cam Taylor-Britt playing safety a little bit. And no, he's not going to move to safety, but can align in a bunch of different spots. And I think that's what they're doing is they're experimenting to see what this secondary can do. So overall, I like that. I think Al Golden is certainly buttoned up. We posted the video yesterday. He carries himself like a head coach. Obviously, he's been a head coach at the collegiate level. I like a lot about what he's doing from a technique standpoint as well. I talked about the one-on-one blocking, offensive line, defensive line, or the one-on-one matchups. On defense, a big stressor has just been tackling. Shocker. Something the Bengals really struggled with last year, tackling. And so if you can clean that up, I think that would go a long way. Overall, I think it was a successful minicamp for those that were here, that were present and participating. But the drama continues. We're going to have plenty on all things Bengals. I talked with Andre Yosevach one-on-one. That interview will come soon, some point next week. And we have a lot coming your way. So, yeah, minicamp in the books. Plenty of Bengals coverage coming your way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit follow wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien signing off as minicamp is in the books right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.